On this episode of the Superhero Forge podcast, we are doing a basics nutrition Q&A for us geeks, gamers, and cosplayers, simplifying and demystifying the world of healthy foods. How's it going, guys? Welcome back to the Superhero Forge podcast. I am Troy Bushido, 10-year plus veteran personal trainer and 3-4 year plus cosplayer, 30 plus year geek. That's how it goes. This podcast is designed for geeks, gamers, and cosplayers to help lose fat, tone, sculpt, build muscle, and get into the best shape they can be to unleash their inner hero. And at Superhero Forge, we love to simplify and empower. That's our two big credos. Fitness is meant to look complicated, not be complicated, but look complicated. Because if it looks complicated, that means somebody out there can sell you some product, some program, some gimmick, or some service. And yeah, it sounds hypocritical of me to say that because I am a trainer, I provide a service, I am a coach, I train clients remotely from all over the country. So today I compiled a bunch of questions from the communities over on Instagram. Follow me on Instagram at superhero.forge, as well as my own clients, as well as acquaintances of clients and past clients, and came up with a handful of very frequently asked questions that pertains to simplifying nutrition for fat loss and overall health. First off, I am a precision nutrition certified nutrition coach. That does not mean I'm a licensed dietitian. So, take all my advice with a grain of salt. Please consult your healthcare professionals and your registered dietitians for any specific advice pertaining to you, especially if it pertains to specific diseases or health conditions. I'm just here for the overall health of things and for fat loss. With that said, first question that got thrown to me was from my friend Hollywood Jose, DSB.iv or DSB4 on Instagram. Eggs. Are they good? Are they bad? Eggs seem to be turning good and turning bad, turning face, turning heel, more than the Big Show's WWE career. What's the consensus on eggs? To put simply, eggs are predominantly good for you in moderate quantities. And here's what I mean. You're going to get a bunch of good cholesterol in the egg yolk. You're going to get vitamins A and K through the egg yolk. They provide between 6 to 7 grams of protein per egg. But you will also be getting a little bit of fat. So, if you have a dietitian saying, hey, no cholesterol of any kind, then gotta go bye-bye. The way I typically eat my eggs, I just speak for myself, I can't speak for anyone else, is that I typically like going 3 to 4 eggs. 3 of those eggs will be just egg whites, and then 1 will be yolk. It gives a good balance between healthy fats and between 24 to 28 grams of protein in a single breakfast meal. And you can scramble it, you could sunny side up it, you could over easy it, you could prepare it however you want to prepare it. So right now, eggs in moderate quantities have been known to be fairly healthy. I wouldn't say do the Gaston thing and don't eat 24 eggs in a day just because toxic masculinity tells you to, but they're not horribly bad either, or at least not as bad as people say they are. Thank you, Hollywood Jose. Always too sweet. Next question. How much protein do I need? He gave me his height, he gave me his weight, and he says he's 14 years old. That's the punchline. First off, I can only say so much advice because I don't want to go outside my scope of practice because I predominantly train adults 18 over. Most of my clients are millennials of 25 to 45 years old. But this 14-year-old kid, I would say, for now, stick with the basics, which is 1 gram per 2.2 kilograms of body weight. Or, in other words, 1 gram of protein for every pound of body weight per day. Boom. If you get at least that, and then take in even more calories depending on your metabolism, depending on how your puberty is going, which is different for everybody, which I'm not an endocrinologist, I'm not a hormone expert, I'm not a pediatrician, so I'm not even an expert on that either. but everyone's puberty hits up differently. I would say 1 gram per pound of body weight, and then take it from there. Being a kid also means you're able to get away with a lot more when it comes to food selection. If you feel like you're eating and you're gaining too much fat, it could be possibly lack of exercise. It could be bad food selection, certainly, but with that much hormones in your system, you definitely want to take advantage. And you definitely want to take advantage of that spiked hormones to strength train and get stronger and get and build that lean muscle tissue as you get older and older and older. That's the trick right there. Next one. Breakfast. Overrated or underrated? Ooh. I would say, depending on your sleeping pattern, depending on your hunger and fullness patterns, and depending on your fitness goals, I would say properly rated. Now, there's some people out there that will swear by the protocol called intermittent fasting. And intermittent fasting means you skip eating for like a handful of hours until a certain window hits, and then you eat. So this is good for people that are really not that hungry in the morning. Those that can have their first meal at noon and their last meal at like 8 at night, or even 6 evening. Those who like to work out on an empty stomach but still feel the energy to do so. Intermittent fasting can also work if you carb backload your dinner time and have a lot of carbs at dinner time. That way the carbs stay stored in your system when you sleep, and then they're loaded and ready to go when you wake up. Will they be as present and as available as if you ate the carbs before the workout the same day? No, but I think that's more of the point. So I would say, depends on the person. Now, I'll tell you this. Intermittent fasting would be highly not recommended for those who have had any history of disordered eating, which is like feeling guilty about certain foods, feeling guilty that you ate at a certain time, doing like punishment activities for the food you ate, punishment cardio or punishment dieting, any signs of disordered eating that has not turned into a flat-out eating disorder. I definitely would say don't try intermittent fasting. It's just going to feed into the disordered eating even further and possibly make an eating disorder out of it. I wouldn't want that to happen to you, because then you go outside of my scope of practice and you go into mental health, and I just do the best I can as a support. Next question up. Best food to eat before and after a workout. Okay. Depends on the time you work out. Depends on what the type of activity you do for workouts. If you're going to be eating an actual meal before you work out, you want that to be at least an hour, because you need at least 45 minutes to digest most of it. In a perfect world, you're thinking 90 minutes before a workout, and that is if you ate just a full-on meal. If you had a full-on meal, you let it digest, and then you'd be ready to go. The last thing anyone wants to do is have their meal come right back up after an intense workout. It's never fun. No one likes that. What are some of the foods you can eat pre-workout? Well, if it's an hour ahead to 45 minutes ahead, you're probably going to want a fast-acting carb in your system. So something with a higher glycemic index, like fruit, a little bit more refined carbs, cereal bar, some certain protein bars can be eaten pre-workouts. Hydration is also pretty important, about at least an hour beforehand. And then after workout, the best post-workout thing you could do is not eat yet. Let me say that again. The best post-workout food is nothing for the first 5 to 30 minutes. For the first 5 to 30 minutes, your body is trying to go down from a heightened central nervous system sympathetic mode, aka fight or flight, where all the blood is in the limbs, whether it's upper body day or leg day, but you only have so much blood in your body. And If it's all in the limbs, then you won't have as much blood going into your central organs like your brain and especially your stomach to digest anything. So you want digestion to be as easy and as simple and as smooth as possible. So let your body relax. Come down from that fight or flight down to what's called rest and refeed, the parasympathetic nervous system. Deep breaths, cool down stretches, chilling out, a little bit of hydration, things like that. And then around 30 minutes, you could have carbs and especially protein. And the more smoother, more digestible it is, the better. So I would say instead of having a tough steak post-workout, you have, well, if you're going to eat actual food, have a more cubed to ground beef or cubed to ground chicken, or, you know, the protein shake. I hate to go with stereotypes, but you could go with the protein shake. And it's as smooth and as easy to digest as possible. And you can take it down that way. So digestion, good digestion creates good absorption. Good absorption means you don't waste your food. So that's definitely what you should do post-workout. Rest and then refeed with carbs and protein. Next one. How does fruit play into a healthy eating plan? All right, here's the thing about fruit. Some people say fruit makes you fat. I have yet to hear anybody eat watermelon and get fat off of it. Bloated? Maybe, but not fat. And the only reason why you get bloated off of fruit is maybe because your body creates gaseous reactions when eating certain fruit or certain quantities of fruit. And when you create gas and water, blah, you bloat. But no one ever got fat from fruit. Fruit and all sorts of healthy meals, the reason why they're healthy is because they have a high amount of food volume, a high amount of micronutrients, aka vitamins and minerals, and a low amount of calories. I have a term I like to use. Dietitians use food volume. I like to use a unit called CPO, calories per ounce. How many calories are you getting per ounce of food you're eating? If you're eating a food that's very filling and very high in ounces, but not as filling in calories, that is much easier to keep in a fat loss plan because you're going to be feeling fuller longer. So with fruit, you know, certain fruits, especially citrus, will just have your body naturally stop eating it. It's very hard to overeat fruit because you're just going to get sick. You'll either get sick of it or just you get queasy from the citric acid. So when all things are equal and you are lining up the calories and the macros accordingly, fruit can make a great source of carbohydrate. Now, when most people think carbs, they think grain-based. They think the pastas, they think the rice, they think the breads. And yes, those are carbs because they're high in glucose, which is a substance of sugar. But fructose, which is an offshoot of glucose, is also appears in fruits. But the one thing whole fruit has is fiber, which makes it a little bit easier to get full off the fruit and will balance the blood sugar spike and doesn't make it spike as hard or spike as fast or spike as powerfully. And obviously fiber is good for you. And fiber makes the body of the fruit. The fruit is the body of the fruit, the skin of the fruit, that's all fiber, which is why a lot of nutritionists will recommend you eating the whole fruit and not the fruit juice. The fruit juice is typically a little bit of the juice taken out of the body of the fruits, mixed with a lot of water and a lot of concentrate, predominantly made of sugar. So, can fruit fit? Yeah. You're going to want to budget it. You're going to want to portion it correctly. You don't want to back the truck on fruit, both for digestive purposes and for the purposes of a fat loss plan. You do want most of your food to be minimally processed food, which could be fruits, which could be protein, meat protein, which could be vegetables, especially vegetables, because all these foods are going to have low CPO, a very low amount of calories per ounce of food. A lot of food, not a lot of calories. So you can be fuller, longer with more food. So there you go. Final question. Can someone lose weight on a plant-based diet? Yes. I am not on a plant-based diet, but the thing about plant-based dieting, aka vegan dieting, it has its benefits and its drawbacks. So the big thing when it comes to plant-based dieting is this. You have to have a good reason why. There's a couple good reasons why. First, you're being a vegan, not just a plant-based dieter, but a vegan, meaning you don't consume anything that has to do with animals for the sake of the animals. Do you have that noble of a cause? More power to you. Practice that. Perfect. Now, another reason why some people go plant-based is because their body doesn't process meat products as well as it used to. Let's not lie. The way meat is produced isn't as good as the hunter-gatherer days. You know, when it's made, it's, you know, you feed the animals a certain way, you slaughter the animals a certain way, then you cook and process and cut the animals a certain way. It's not as it used to be. So with that said, you know, certain ways animal products are processed and prepared for store purchase, you know, that kind of stuff isn't sitting well with the body anymore. Okay, fair enough. That's when you go plant-based. But a few huge key points about going plant-based. One, is it better? No. Not in the sense of, are those protein types better for your body? To be honest with you, you're going to get a greater diverse amino acid profile with animal-based proteins compared to plant-based proteins. You're just going to need even more plants if you're going plant-based. You got to have an even greater diversity when it comes to amino acids. You might even have to use amino acid supplementation so you get all the essential amino acids in your body. Now, am I saying don't go plant-based? No. If it's good reason, and if animal products are just hurting you or hurting you mentally and you want to be vegan, then you have reason. One thing you also want to watch out for is animal products having high amounts of sodium, because it takes a lot of processing to turn soybean into a beef patty. There's a lot of magic that has to happen in order to turn a plant into meat. So, do be careful with that. One idea, I ain't saying it's a good idea, I ain't saying it's a bad idea, it's an idea that's come across my family and it's something I've drifted a little bit towards, is what I call systematic plant-based dieting. Systematic plant-based dieting is for those who don't have as good of a time processing certain meat protein anymore. It's like red meat. I only have red meat once a week nowadays, maybe twice tops. My main animal protein sources, my three main protein sources from animals is egg, chicken, and fish, predominantly salmon. It's just easier for my body to process, and I've had family members drift more to something called pescatarian dieting, which drifts even more into the plant-based territory, where they minimize their protein consumption to just like fish and egg, or fish, or just fish. And then there's some that go into a deeper pescatarian dieting, which is like what red meat is to me, which is the once a week thing. Fish is to them. That's a once a week thing, and they're nearly completely plant-based. It really depends on the body. It really depends on where they're at in their life and what their body's needs are and what their ethics are, for lack of a better word. It's definitely something that if you're thinking about it, DM me directly and we'll bounce it back and forth and workshop it. It's kind of a big decision, because it's like, oh wait, I have to revamp a lot of what I'm eating. Some of it for good, some of it for a challenge. But there you go. If you have more nutrition questions, be sure to throw me the questions into DMs on Instagram. That's probably the most active social media channel I have, at superhero.forge on Instagram. Yeah, if you like this video, be sure to like it. If you're seeing this on YouTube, be sure to subscribe. I've had a fun time recording this, and we'll be getting into gaming. In the meantime, have a good rest of the day. We'll talk to you soon, and be the hero of your world.